My name is Paul Reiber. I'm a member of the Krenov Foundation board, and we are going to interview students in the program on this last week of the school year. So would you introduce yourself and say whether you're a first or second year student? And
Sure. I'm Fabian Elmers, and I'm a first year, just wrapping up.
And where were you from before you came out here?
Just before I was living in Los Angeles.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of woodworking experience did you have?
I've taken classes throughout the years, on and off, like one-off classes, box making, just random classes, but not a true program until just before coming at Cerritos College. I was in their kind of furniture making certificate program. Mm-hmm. And then after doing that for about a year, I was like, oh, I want a more in-depth program.
How did you hear about the Krenov School?
I heard about Krenov School. I was living in San Francisco, and I was taking a box making class, and the instructor actually made an offhand comment about the Krenov School. He's like, "Oh, they're really fussy up there," you know, and that actually piqued my interest more than anything. So I followed up, and so the program had always been sitting in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so here you are.
Here I am, many years later.
Any particular teaching moments or moments in your relationship with your projects that stand out in your mind?
Oh, let's see. I think it's really been about like getting comfortable and decision making and like trusting myself and in doing something I might find complicated, a complicated setup that you're cutting a complex angle, or you need to remove, you're kind of having to freehand something. I think it's been really finding my confidence in trusting that I can execute the projects, and with the help of the teachers, kind of encouraging you to keep going and just pushing you to kind of trust yourself in order to make just to be able to see something through to completion. And it's just, there's lots of little aha moments that happen that kind of come just by continuously doing it that are invaluable.
What inspired your projects? I know the first one is kind of an assignment, but from then on you get to pick your own.
Yeah, even the first one, I really kind of tried to set something out for myself. My aim was to try to differentiate from, like, try to find a unique voice in what I was making and try to find something unique to say and something that might be a little bit different, even though we had the constraints of building, kind of a small piece. So I spent a lot of time kind of drafting and drawing different shapes that I thought might be interesting, and I found kind of something a little bit more graphic for my first piece, and then in my second piece I decided to kind of go the other way and kind of follow the tradition, maybe in the style of Krenov, and see what I could find out in that process, and like learn from the instructors, from people that have been in that same world, because I think there's such a learning opportunity there, and like and maybe I can find something that I can then incorporate into my own style. I'm still kind of finding my own aesthetic and like what that might be, but I just want as much experience as I can get.
What advice would you give to new students?
I think, especially people that come in with a lot of experience, is try to put aside any preconceived notions of what you know, because I feel like the way things are taught here, the way you approach building, the way that you approach kind of viewing the wood and then how you're going to approach that are very intimate. And I think if you come in with a lot of experience, it can be challenging to kind of readjust. So just like keeping an open mind and let yourself like surrender to the process. Yeah.
Interesting. What has the experience of moving to this small town
What's that
been like for you?
I mean, I grew up when I moved to the U.S., I'm originally from overseas. I lived in a small town not too dissimilar from Fort Bragg, but I've lived in large cities in the last 20 years. So I think, coming to a small town, it's isolated up here, but it's beautiful, and you quickly kind of get into the woodworking community here. But it's an adjustment for pace of life, which I found really enjoyable, just to kind of slow everything down and then focus in on this. But it's eccentric up here. Just but that's part of its charm.
Yeah, we love it. How has the school experience impacted your sense of what your future looks like, or your understanding of yourself?
I would say, I came into the program really looking to dive deeper into kind of this medium, and with the hopes that I could potentially turn it into something afterwards. I don't exactly know what that's going to look like, but I feel like the program is an emotional and physical journey, because there's ups and downs, and there's trials, and there's lots of self-doubt, and there's, some sleepless nights, and there's days where you question whether you can do it, and but the camaraderie and just being in the room and then just staying focused and like seeing something through, I feel like I want to keep going. I want to continue and see where I can take this. I would love to turn it into a career.
So what's next for you?
Well, I'm going to be coming back for a second year.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm
good.
very excited about that. So I'm going to be going through the whole process again next year, and I feel a lot better prepared now. And like,
what's been your experience, or of having second year students as a first year student, having second year students as part of the mix? Has that been
it's invaluable, like because oftentimes there's only usually one teacher and Todd around to ask questions, and sometimes they're busy with other students, so just having someone you can bounce ideas off of, or just like remind you how to do something, and just trying to absorb from their experience. I feel like it's been huge, because there's times where you're sitting at your bench and you're like, I don't know what to do next, and having someone who can even just tell you what to consider. Like they might not help make the decision for you, but there's always multiple ways of doing something.
Right.
So just getting someone with experience to give you that feedback is invaluable. Yeah.
Did you get a scholarship from us?
Not this year, but I did for next year.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good.
So I applied. I had saved some to be able to get through the first year, and then now that I'm deciding to do a second, I applied for some scholarships.
Good.
So
I hope that's going to make that
it's
a
going to
little bit easier.
It's going to be a huge help.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
for sure.
What are you doing this summer?
I'm going to be around here for a little while,
Uh-huh.
and hopefully try to find some work to do and try to do something woodworking related and just enjoy the coast. And I feel like I haven't really seen the area as much as I'd like.
Right.
So
They
just
work
kind of-
you pretty hard here, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long
Okay.
days.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Paul. I
This has
appreciate
been
it.
nice talking.
Yeah,
and
you
I'll
too.
look forward to seeing you next year.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look forward to the carving class
Oh, good.
part 2.